was kind of aging out of the MTV bracket, and he wasn't really getting any attention from the industry. So he was pretty much losing all his income, and at the same time, I was working.
Like, bro, I could never imagine my wife getting on the internet and like walking people through periods where I was financially fucked up. Like, what the fuck is this?
And it just caused a lot of stress on our relationship. Everything came to a head when my mother-in-law came to visit us. And I was being very distant, and I think she kind of internalized it like that I was being bitchy towards her or passive-aggressive towards her.
Yeah, you were being a bitch to his mother, and he still married you. I cannot imagine a world where I marry a woman who was ever disrespectful to my mother, bro. Akaash Singh tries to defend his wife and fails miserably. Oh, video by Too Lazy to Try. Okay, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. Akaash Singh is going to address the drama concerning him, his simping, and his gold-digging wife. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, keep going on this. So husband gets on steroids. He gets fit.
The husband just got really screwed in the whole process.
He's also kind of like a dumb seeming guy, easily manipulated. He's so in love with his wife. He's like so cucked out. He just goes along with everything she wants.
All right, so that was Akaash around 8 months ago.
Wow, man. The irony.
All right, so that was Akaash around 8 months ago. This guy has no self-awareness and is in complete denial about his relationship, even though he basically just described it there.
Right.
You know, his wife is manipulating him like crazy.
Yeah, he's just projecting.
And he's so obsessed with her and wants to be with her so badly. He'll put up with her, humiliating him every day, making him look like a cuck, spending all his money and destroying his career. And she has no shame about it. You know, the whole internet is cooking her husband because she keeps disrespecting him. And it seems like she couldn't care less. And honestly probably loves it. Like, she just adds more.
No, she's actually getting off on this shit, man. That's why she's making it worse.
Fuel to the fire every day. It's brutal. Like, she even addressed the controversy and doubled down and just...
You know, it occurred to me recently why it is that she keeps dodging the kisses. It's not because of this bullshit reason she gave about, oh, it overstimulates me. Yeah, fucking right. You know what it is? She understands that Akaash wants to be with her because he believes it makes him look good. This is the girl I got on my arm, right? The girl that you guys would assume is out of my league. That's my chick. She's with him for money, clearly, just for no other reason, for money. And so in that situation, it's an equal exchange, but she wants to be in complete control. And so in order to do that, she restricts, or she makes it so that Akaash can't actually reap the benefits of having her on his arm, right? By preventing him from doing things like kissing her on camera. It's like, oh, the whole reason you got with me, I took that from you, right? The thing that you wanted to get out of me, you cannot have it, but I am continuing to take your money. And so she claims complete control and power over the relationship. And that's what that's all about. Because she probably does allow him to be physically intimate with her to some degree off camera. But that's the thing. She doesn't want him to get that satisfaction of why he purchased her.
You know, Akaash has spent so much money on her, and in return, she's ruining his career. You know, she humiliates him every day. She constantly makes fun of him. She says he smells bad. She won't kiss him on the lips.
Yeah, said he had smelly balls.
And she even hits on and fantasizes about other guys in front of him.
Right.
I mean, she has been so disrespectful to Akaash. But yet
she wants to sit on Nav's 10-incher. Yeah, she said that.
She still has the nerve to go on her podcast and talk about how him spending a ton of money on her has been the best investment for him.
Where has chivalry gone? Like, why do these men who make $60,000 a year talking about gold diggers, you don't have any gold to dig?
Where the fuck does chivalry, what does chivalry have to do with money? Chivalry is about being polite. It's about putting the woman first. It's not about having a certain amount of money. What, are you saying that a broke man or a man who doesn't make a lot of money can't be chivalrous? Dummy?
Because the guys that are actually in the 1% tax bracket, they want to do like the things that my husband and Nav are doing. They want to take care of women. They don't want us to be stressed. They want to be in our divine. They want us to be in our divine feminine energy. I said that
you couldn't find your divine feminine energy if it bit you on the ass. Listen, there's nothing wrong with any of the things that you just mentioned, right? There's nothing wrong with spending money on your girl. There's nothing wrong with buying her nice things. There's nothing wrong with, if you have the means financially and you're being responsible, if you can make her life easier by paying for certain services, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The problem is you are just taking advantage of this guy, and it's so obvious. He is not getting anything in return for, he's not getting what he purchased. He's not getting what he paid for, because that's what this was. This was a payment plan, right? This was a sale. You scammed the guy. That's what makes her a gold digger. A couple of things I'm going to address based off of things I've seen in the comment section. Some people believe that there is no such thing as a female gold digger because the man always gives his money willfully. Just because you spend a lot of money on a woman doesn't make her a gold digger. What makes her a gold digger is if she leads you on to believing that she actually romantically desires you, right? And so in leading you on in that way, you spend a ton of money on her, only to find out that she doesn't feel that way about you. And even that would be fine if she at least pretended like she liked you. And instead, all he got was a person that manipulated him, is constantly talking shit about him, embarrassing him, and spending all of his money, and he's not getting anything in return, which is why he's always complaining. You see, be one thing if Akaash never complained, but he's constantly complaining about her, which tells you what? He feels like you're not doing the things that he expected you to do as his wife. Now, as far as simping goes, just because you do nice things for your girl doesn't make you a simp, right? Doing romantic things and doing nice things for your girl doesn't make you a simp. Buying her things doesn't make you a simp. Paying her compliments doesn't make you a simp. Simping is doing anything out of fear or desperation. Desperation for her validation, fear of her disapproval. That's it. That's what makes you a simp. And so if my friends invite me to go out tonight and I tell them, nah, I'm gonna spend the night with my girl because I want to spend the night with my girl, that's not simping. But if I want to go and hang out with my boys, but I'm afraid it's gonna make her mad, then me staying home with my girl instead of going out with the boys, that would be simping. Me buying you roses because I just thought about you as I was in the grocery store and I saw some roses and I was like, oh, I want to bring my girl some roses to show her, my love and affection. That's not simping. But you giving her roses because you feel like you need to do something in order to win her over, right? You're trying to get her to like you more because you're feeling some sort of emotional deficit. That is simping.
Investing in your wife is not a financial burden because in Eastern physics, this is both in Chinese
it's only an investment if you get a return.
And like Indian physics and spirituality, like when you treat your wife like a princess or a queen, you spoil her, you give her stuff, you just let her be able to relax. She gets into this divine feminine energy, this divine feminine aura. In return, she starts taking care of you in a much better way. She's so emotionally supportive of you.
You haven't started though. You haven't even started that.
Because women are so strong.
How many Chanel bags do you have? You don't even throw his laundry into the washing machine with your shit. No, this is all bullshit, okay? Where in the Hindu spirituality mantra does it talk about you sitting on your husband's, or on your friend's husband's 10-incher? Where is that in the sage advice of Vishnu and Brahman? It's not there.
In their EQ and how they can take care of men, and that energy gets rewarded in the universe. It starts coming back to you. And I can say I'm like a case in point example. Like even before my husband really started making money, he always would find little ways to spoil me, even if it didn't cost that much in the beginning. And now we've gone from him buying me AirPods or Nike shoes to now spending so much money at Miu Miu or Cartier or whatever. And I'm not saying that to be braggy. I'm saying that
you 100% are.
I've seen this principle really, really work. And I truly
it works out for you. You get a ton of free shit. Yeah, it's working for you, no doubt.
Believe that a man that takes care of his wife is blessed by the universe.
Yeah, I wonder why.
There's a difference between taking care of and spoiling, by the way.
She would think that this lady's just a professional gaslighter. I mean, she's proven the exact opposite of that theory. Akaash spent so much money on her.
Yeah.
And she's just making
she gets on the podcast and talks about his stinky balls.
In his life, a living hell. She's basically tearing him down to try to launch her own career. So of course she doubled down and said she's just being herself and she's being open and free, and she brags about how many followers she has.
And like how they say, like, to be cringe is to be free. Like, okay, if you think I'm cringe, okay, to these red pill guys or these brown girl haters that think I'm cringe, I'm free though. I'm being myself, and I have 160,000 followers now. I only started posting last year.
Nice.
Like, whatever you think, like, that's good fucking growth.
And Akaash addressed the controversy too at one of his shows, and of course he was just simping out for her, which I get, it's his wife and he wants to defend her, but she would never do the same for him. I mean, the way his wife talks about him compared to the way he talks about her, it's just sad to see.
Exactly.
I mean, he tries to tell this story to prove that she's not a gold digger.
I don't see how some people don't get it, man. Some people don't see it. They don't see how she treats this guy like shit. It's not equal. It's not equal. You know, there's some women who look at this situation, hear the criticisms, and be like, the woman's always right. There's no such thing as gold digging. You know, every man should simp all the time. Again, these are not women in successful relationships. These are usually lonely women who say these things anyway. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they have zero experience dating women. So listen, you don't know the first thing about dating a woman, right? Unless you've dated a woman. It makes sense, right? I have a dick. I could never give you good advice on what to do with it, though, in order to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's fucking, I never did that shit before. At least not from the second person perspective. One-on-one, Hall of Fame goated. All you have to do is swap the genders. When in doubt, swap the genders. Could you imagine a guy getting on a podcast talking about his wife's smelly pussy, spending all of her money, literally does nothing all day while she goes and busts her ass and makes a ton of money, and he spends all of her money on new clothes and new shoes and new cars, and then he gets on the podcast and talks to his boy, one of his friends, and about how he wants to fuck his wife? Could you imagine? Could you just imagine what women would say about a guy like that? But yet you flip the genders and somehow she's like a champion of feminism? No, she's a demon. She's an evil fucking demon.
By talking about how she was with him through everything, and she even stuck by him when he went broke. But it turns out he's leaving out some parts and he's exaggerating to try to make her look better, because she tells a different story and hers sounds much more believable, you know, because it just sounds like Akaash is doing whatever he can to defend her and make it seem like she's not a gold digger.
This is how we know he was deceived. This is how we know he was actually fooled, because he's trying to make excuses for it. You see, if he was like, no, I love this shit, everything she's saying is jokes, I'm in on the joke, I knew it was a joke, I love spending all this money, the way she behaves is exactly the way I wanted her to behave and expected her to behave, he wouldn't be trying to defend it. He would just ignore it. The reason he's defending it so much is because he is embarrassed. It's because he wants to change the narrative because it's embarrassing him.
These narratives, people calling your wife a gold digger and a whore and all these other things, it's a shitty thing. So I'm going to tell one story that I have never even told her. Honestly, she has no idea of this story. My wife and I met in 2014. I was not making much money. I was getting $25 a night doing stand-up. I was on MTV shows that paid dog shit money. If she was a gold digger, I didn't even have 10 to get the bitch, to be honest. But then in 2018, I went flat fucking broke. 34 years old, I probably made...
Again, defending the situation because he's embarrassed. But secondly, like Too Lazy to Try said, what do you mean she didn't hear about this if she lived it? What Akaash is trying to suggest here is that she didn't know how broke he was. He was telling her, I'm making $60,000 a year, I'm doing this, that, and the third, when in reality, he wasn't. In reality, he was broke, which means he deceived her. Even from the very beginning, he realized that the only way this girl is going to be interested in me is if she has the perception that I can offer her something significant financially. That's the only way this story of, oh, my wife doesn't even know about this, that's the only way that makes sense. And so all he's doing is proving that she is in fact a gold digger, because there's no way she would have been interested in him. This is what he believed, unless he had something to offer financially significantly.
$4,000 that entire year, and we couldn't even afford the living room we lived in New York City. We had to move out of that apartment and move to New Jersey. And what's even sadder than moving to New Jersey is I had to save up money to move to New Jersey. So we had to stay on her friend's couch for almost a month. We were basically homeless for a month. So I could save money to move to New Jersey. And I remember the night before we went to the couch, we had to stay in our apartment illegally. We were supposed to have been out by like 12 p.m. We moved everything out, but we didn't have a place to stay, so we had to stay there that night. It was just me and her sleeping on a hardwood floor. I'm 34 years old. She's 25 years old. I'm looking at this girl like, man, you could go be with an Indian who's a doctor, like a real Indian. You're a beautiful girl. You have so much ahead of you. Me, I don't know what my life is going to be. I'm 34. I'm fucking broke. This dream might not ever happen, but I'm too fucking moronic to quit. And I have nothing to give her. It's just a light jacket. It's like October. We have nothing. So I hand her the jacket, and then she said, "What's this for?" I said, "You can use that as a pillow." And then she goes, "Well, what are you going to use?" And I said, "I'll figure it out."
This nigga want us to believe. He sounded like he's sleeping under a bridge, and I had to give her my sweater I had to use my sweater as a pillow because we could only afford one pillow. Meanwhile, he's like the co-host with a podcast. He's the co-host of a podcast with like a famous comedian who's blowing up. He has. Oh my God, man! Jesus Christ.
She handed me back the jacket. She goes, "You take this." And then she laid with her head on my chest and her arm around me the entire night. And I remember thinking in that moment, this is why I haven't shared this with her, because I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to marry this girl because I'm so broken. I'm in such a bad place and it's a dark fucking time in my life. But I know I will never find a girl that loves me this much.
Oh boy. If this is the pinnacle of love, brother, God fucking damn it. May nobody ever find love like this.
And I will never find a girl who rides for me this hard ever again.
So he's trying so hard.
Right. She's a fucking bum. That's all that story tells me. She's such a bum that she was willing to gamble riding this down period with you out instead of having to go off and find another man? Get a job? Yeah, why couldn't she contribute at that point in time? Why is it that because you were broke, you had to sleep on the floor, I guess, of some living room of your friend and share a sweater as a pillow? Why could she not contribute at all? Because she's worthless. She's actually worthless and a fucking child and a bum and a moocher. But here's the thing. She's 25. She's Gen Z. You may have been broke, but you had clout and you were getting more and more every day. You already had hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. Your co-host of your podcast, he was already famous and only getting more famous. She knew that is a better investment than going and getting with a doctor who might be making like $250,000, $300,000 a year. Sure, at that point in time, he would have been making far more money than you, but he has a ceiling unless he became like a neurosurgeon or opened his own practice or some shit like that. And that's the kind of things like that takes like decades to unfold and really turn into a multi-million-dollar business as a doctor, right? Whereas she knew that, hey, a year or two from now, he used to make a lot more money. Okay, we're down right now. His clout is going up. There's a good chance if I stick around for another year or two, this man might be a fucking millionaire. Okay, his co-host is mainstream now. Yeah, no, I think I'll just ride this one through. She was only 25. She had plenty of time left to jump ship and go marry some fucking 36-year-old Indian doctor. That she had a lot of time on the clock. So this story in no way impresses me.
Hard to make it seem like it's this wholesome story and she stuck by him the whole time. She saw the potential in him when no one else did. But it turns out, according to her, when the money dried up, it caused a ton of fights. She got really stressed out about it, and she had a giant fight with his mom and then left to India. And then it sounds like once Flagrant started a Patreon and Akaash started making money again, Akaash went running to India to simp for her again. So at his lowest point, she just made his life even more stressful.
That's
and
hilarious.
then left him.
Had like,
So not only was his fabricated story, even if it was true, it did not do anything. It didn't move the needle at all. But the reality is that didn't even happen. Turns out when he went broke, she left him and went to India and disrespected his mother. That's the kind of woman this is. Come on, man. Hilarious.
7 MTV shows. I wasn't making crazy money. I was making like low 6 figures. But my girlfriend at the time, she moved into our place, and then all of a sudden, end of 2017, all the shows started suddenly getting canceled one by one. I'm going broke. So 2018, we're doing Flagrant. My wife, financially anxious person, is like, what is going on? Like, we're talking about getting married. Is this what it's going to be? I don't have an answer for her. I'm like, this flagrant thing, I think. I believe in this. I believe in this. Then I start wondering, like, am I just saying that because that's all I have left?
Yeah.
And then luckily we started the Patreon because I went so broke we had to. No, Andrew was doing great. Andrew was starting to blow up, to be honest with you.
His started to dry up. He was kind of aging out of the MTV bracket, and he wasn't really getting any attention from the industry. So he was pretty much losing all his income, and at the same time I was working.
Like, bro, I could never imagine my wife getting on the internet and like walking people through periods where I was financially fucked up. Like, what the fuck is this?
A really toxic job with like a toxic manager and like working till 2 a.m, and it just caused a lot of stress on our relationship. Everything came to a head when my mother-in-law came to visit us, and I was being very distant because of everything we were going through. Akaash was very stressed, and I think she kind of internalized it like that I was being bitchy towards her or passive aggressive towards her.
Yeah, you were being a bitch to his mother, and he still married you. I cannot imagine a world where I marry a woman who was ever disrespectful to my mother, bro.
It was a huge fight between all of us. Basically, Akaash did not defend me, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I can be in a relationship with this person anymore.
So after this, we both took a much needed break, and we just needed time to reflect on our own outside of the relationship. I took a trip to India with my mom for my cousin's wedding. Akaash needed to find his voice within the relationship and find his voice between his mom and me.
Finally, a couple months later, I just had this epiphany. We were still getting in fights, but Akaash went on his own trip to India, and my Nana Ji was sick in the hospital. He flew out of his way to go see him in Punjab. I woke up the next day seeing pictures of him, my Masi, and my Nana Ji, and I had this moment where I was like, okay.
So you weren't even there. Jesus.
I know he's the right one. We're gonna make it through this.
And I guess she had a job at the time, so she could have kept working.
He did that out of desperation. That's what makes it simping.
They could have tried to save some money and just have been more frugal. Like if she's really as loyal and supportive as he says, she could have tried to hold down the fort till he got back on his feet.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure he's still doing stand-up every night. It sounds like he's a hard worker, and he's doing the podcast, which was definitely going to pay off at some point. So if she really believed in him at the time, you'd think she would try her best to help with the bills and support. But it's like that's never even an option, because of course her motto is his money is our money and my money is my money.
Exactly.
His money is our money and my money is my money. So that is actually my number one. They must be generous with their finances from day.
I wouldn't be surprised if this woman takes money from Akaash and every time she takes money from him, she puts a portion in a private account that he doesn't even know about. I would not be surprised.
One.
So once Akaash stopped earning money, it was over, and they're probably fighting every second of every day. And then the final straw was her getting into it with his mom. It sounds like they really went at it. And I bet his mom thinks she's an ingrate. Same thing as Schultz. Years ago, he got into it with her too. All the red flags were there. I'm sure everybody warned him, but he didn't want to listen, and he still doesn't. So all he's going to do is cope. It's going to be wild.
So that's the current situation with Akaash, man. Yeah, he responded on stage, but he has yet to return to the podcast and give his full explanation, because that's coming. So we'll stay posted for that, but you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Did Akaash's response change your opinion of this whole situation, or do you think it made it worse? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.